From her quirky sense of humor to the hidden darkness inside her, Bella Ramsey has done a great job portraying Ellie from The Last of Us game. Still, some people seem a little unsatisfied and think that she is going to be recast in the second season. I'm not exaggerating when I say that the most recent episode of The Last of Us is being hailed as one of the best in television history, and the future looks bright for the show. Why? Well, because it's just been given a second season order. But now, according to a recent Forbes report, some fans are convinced that when season 2 of the show begins filming, the cast will undergo a significant shakeup, something that I personally don't think is possible. There's a time gap between the 2 Last of Us games that are currently available, which has many people wondering whether someone else will be recast as Ellie, and it appears that this is a common belief. You'll see tweets on the ambiguous situation if you go to Twitter and type in Bella Ramsey recast. So let's be clear and reject this notion.
What was Marlene doing with an infected kid?
I'm not infected. She found me after I was bitten.
And she didn't shoot you?
Clearly not. She locked me up and had her guys test me every day to see if I was getting sick.
Test you how?
I have to pee.
Test you how?
Bella Ramsey has done a near-perfect job as Ellie in The Last of Us, and she has the potential to continue doing so in future seasons. She's a treat to watch, and I'll be mad if she gets recast. And to be fair, if you think about it, there's no reason for it. The first game, which takes place when Ellie is about 14 years old, is adapted into the first season of The Last of Us. The Last of Us Part 2 will be adapted for the second season. Ellie is 19 years old when that game begins. Ramsey is 19 years old right now. However, in Season 1, she plays a younger-aged character. She won't be quite that old when they begin filming the second season, but she won't be so elderly that they'll need to replace the role either. It wouldn't make sense to cast Ellie with an older actress. Not just that, but the Game of Thrones actor has already stated that she will appear in the second season. In response to the renewal news. I can't explain how glad I am to hear that. She showed excitement when the news of the renewal was made public. She tweeted that she's super stoked to be joining Pedro for the sequel season. However, tons of internet trolls responded to Ramsey's tweet, stating that she will truly be replaced in the role. Some folks might have to wait till The Last of Us Season 2 trailer is released to know Ramsey will indeed return as Ellie. I am really excited to watch Ramsey's portrayal of Ellie in the upcoming season. For the time being, I'll just keep watching The Last of Us Season 1 and savoring Ramsey and Pascal's fantastic chemistry, and I have to say, it won't be wise to recast her. Her masterful portrayal of Ellie comes as a shock.
No one knows for sure, but best guess, cordyceps mutated. Some of it got into the food supply, probably a basic ingredient like flour or sugar. There were certain brands of food that were sold everywhere, all across the country, across the world. Bread, cereal.
Because the cast wasn't allowed to play the games. Before the first episode of the series aired, it became public knowledge that Pascal and Ramsey had received orders not to discuss the games, much less play them. Fans disapproved of this, but in the end, the performers showed how adept they were at portraying the main characters. The actress just began to play the game. She acknowledged setting the game's difficulty to its easiest setting and simply exploring each new area and feature that caught her attention. She hasn't even gotten to Ellie's introduction, since she has been so preoccupied with all the exploration that she's been doing. The third episode's lead actor, Nick Offerman, who played Bill, revealed that he has given up playing video games. They can become so fascinating and seductive to him that he might wind up losing bits and pieces of his life in them. The actor admitted that he never played the game and has no intention of doing so. To depict their characters as accurately as possible, the majority of the cast has not engaged with the game at all. It's very understandable why they weren't allowed to or chose not to play the games. Once you look at another version of a character that you're supposed to play, you just end up replicating it in most cases, and it doesn't look original. But these actors are doing phenomenal work. It seems like the tactic worked. I would also recommend following the cast on their socials, as they are all pretty hilarious.
We left the window open so the house wouldn't smell, but it would probably be a sight. I'm guessing you found this, Joel. because anyone else would have been electrocuted or blown up by one of my traps.
Especially Bella. She tweeted a hilarious reference to episode 4 recently. A visit to the internet is pretty much required after watching an episode of The Last of Us, whether it's to read up on the most recent clues, contrast the show with the game, learn more about a new character, or simply to engage in an incredible outpouring of grief. Bella Ramsey's Twitter account is another place you ought to look. The primary character Ellie's actor has been posting commentary, giddy reactions, and gorgeous behind-the-scenes images ever since The Last of Us debuted in January. But on Sunday, following episode 4, Ramsey chose to post 3 straightforward emojis: the poop, the running guy, and the pair of trousers. The emoji tweet refers to the joke Ellie tells Joel as they prepare to go to sleep in an abandoned building. The joke goes something like this: "Did you know diarrhea is hereditary? Because it runs down your genes." I'm not gonna lie, that scene cracked me up. The writing has been really impressive throughout, and I didn't mind them straying from the game's story as well.
Joel, did you know diarrhea is hereditary?
What?
Yeah, it runs in your genes.
The joke comes from the No Pun Intended Volume 2 by Will Livingston book that Ellie keeps in her backpack and joyously reads aloud to Joel when they are both sitting around doing nothing. Many people say that Bella looks familiar, but can't exactly figure out where they've seen her. I might have a theory about where most people may know her from. She played Lyanna Mormont in GOT. As the young woman in charge of House Mormont, she seized the chance to make a mark, and frequently conferences of the houses as a proud representative of her family and community because her character had a recurring role in seasons 6 and 8. She stood out as a ferocious leader who, despite her youth, wasn't afraid to express herself and make difficult decisions, like turning down Stannis Baratheon's request for House Mormont's assistance, as he sought to overthrow the Boltons when Stannis was making a run for the Iron Throne. She was the niece of the Old Bear, Jeor Mormont of the Night's Watch, and cousin of Sir Jorah Mormont. I hope I've jogged your memory about Lyanna. She was an incredible character, and her acting was phenomenal even then as well. She's too good, especially for her age. I just can't get enough of Ellie and Joel. Season 2 can't come soon enough. Talking about the second season, what can we expect from it? As the first season has already shown in its brief first 3 episodes, several elements of The Last of Us Part 2 feel like they would make excellent candidates for expansion. The Seraphites, a religious cult, play a significant role in both of our protagonists' adventures in the game, even though they won't become a main emphasis until what is probably Season 3. Much more about them is revealed by Abby's quest. Ellie still runs into them in a variety of situations. Neil Druckmann and Haley Gross, the game's writers, have spoken about several of the game's components that were removed, such as Ellie exploring the Seraphites' island, which we only see near the game's conclusion through the eyes of Abby, Lev, and Yara. This particular component of the game might make it much easier to understand who they are. Oh, that does sound interesting. I really hope Season 2 properly explores the back and forth between Abby and Ellie, and I just hope that the season lives up to the expectations. In the meantime, if you haven't started the first season yet, you should. Thanks for watching.